welcome my listeners to a new podcast of GT talking about different countries by Josué Barrios. Today, I want to mention a lot of points that are so interesting, and I hope you can know more about this country that I have prepared. So, I have the opportunity to talk about Spain. Spain is characterized by its cultural and linguistic wealth. The Spanish language is considered the second most spoken in the world, and there are 500 million Spanish speakers, according to the report Spanish, a living language. The language of Spain is the main language in Spain and 19 American countries. It is also called Castilian for having its origin in the medieval kingdom of Castile. So now I want to mention three words that are so popular in Spain. Okay? So the first word is why. Why in English is like cool. It's so interesting this word because in a sentences, why you can say like que why. So in English, it's like how cool. Interesting, right? So the second word is flipar. Flipar in English is like an impression, and we can say sentences of flipar like flipo chaval. In English, is like that impresses me, man. Okay, so it's so interesting. And the last word is tío. We define it as uncle, right? But in Spain, the word tío is used as dude. So interesting, right? So also I can mention that I can find this language everywhere. When I watch videos, when I see movies, and when I read the Bible as well, because Reina Valera's 1960 version is written in Castilian. Everywhere you can find the Castilian. So that is why Castilian is so recognized. So now I want to talk about the food, something that we always love, right? So, the Spanish food. The food in Spain is so delicious. How do I know that? Well, I have already tasted some foods, not in Spain, but at my grandmother's house, or when my grandmother wants to do some foods. She gives us to taste that food. So now I want to talk about four dishes that I have here. First, the first dish is like tortilla de patata. That in English is like omelette. The other dish is paella. The other dish is gazpacho andaluz, or in English is like Andalusian gazpacho. And the last one is pulpo a la gallega, or in English is like Galician octopus. So now I want to talk about the tortilla de patata. Okay, that is omelette. So it is part excellence the most typical dish in Spain, and probably um one of the favorites of the Spanish. And a freshly made tortilla always comes in great at any time of the day. The omelette is made with potato and egg. So delicious, right? So now I want to talk about paella. It is a rice-based cooking recipe, nowadays very popular throughout Spain and served in restaurants around the world. So interesting, right? I hope that you can practice these recipes and try to do that. Okay, so we will start with another point. So now I want to talk about Spanish sport. Okay, so sport has made history in many countries. As we know, sport is an activity usually of a competitive nature. that can improve the physical condition of those who practice it, which also has properties that differentiate from the game. Here I have some sports. So there are many sports. I can mention some, such as turf, cricket, rugby union, tennis, snooker, basketball, rugby league, and football. So talking a lot about football, football is a very hard sport in different countries. I think that is the favorite sport in the whole world. So we know a lot of teams that are so recognized, and such as Barcelona, Real Madrid, Sevilla, Villarreal, Atletico Madrid, and so on. A lot of people support the teams of football of Spain, as team as the teams are famous thanks to the people. A lot of countries love the matches. For example, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, a classic match by the way. Interesting, right? So let's continue with another point, okay? So now I want to talk about Spanish customs, okay? So the customs are something to know more about the country, such as food, parties, dances, and so on. So I want to tell you some customs of Spain that you need to know. Okay, so the first custom that I have here is like snap. The Spanish take 15 to 30 minutes to rest their eyes and facilitate digestion. In addition, they also do it to have more energy the rest of the day. At least that is its excuse. So interesting, right? So we will continue about the sport. Again, the sport, okay? The matches between Real Madrid and Football Club Barcelona are capable of keeping hundreds of fans glued to their television. Also, the duels of the tennis player Rafael Nadal make even the kings leave their responsibilities aside. Imagine that. So interesting, right? So, now I want to talk about Christmas. Christmas in Spain is a celebration in style. This festival is very important within the culture and traditions of Spain. At this time, as in many countries, in addition, the Christmas trees are filled with lights, homemade decorations, and mountains of gifts. Imagine that. So interesting, right? So, however, some Christmas traditions in Spain are very particular. For example, on December 24, families get together, have a big dinner, and wait up for Santa Claus. Amazing, right? So now I have a curious fact. So the curious fact says that the Spanish celebrate New Year's Eve by eating 12 grapes, one for each time of the clock when it strikes 12 o'clock on New Year's night. So this is very interesting, right? So Spain has many impressive things, and in fact, I want to get to Spain one day to be able to personally see what they do and especially their food. I'm kidding. So what we have seen has been very interesting, right? And what we mentioned it about food, sports, customs, and especially language. I hope you have enjoyed this podcast very much. Remember to stay tuned for a new podcast, and we will be doing in the future. Thank you very much, my listeners. I love you very much, my people. Greetings for Guatemala, the country of eternal spring. Josué says goodbye and thanks all my people. See you soon.